The courtroom session began with the judge calling Hector Casanova forward. The atmosphere was formal, controlled, and serious. The judge immediately addressed the issue at hand, Mr. Casanova's intention to represent himself. While acknowledging that every defendant has the constitutional right to self-representation, the judge made it clear that this decision carries significant consequences. Representing oneself is not simply about speaking in court. It requires legal knowledge, training, and experience. The judge emphasized that once the case proceeds, no one, not the court and not the prosecution, will assist him with legal strategy, objections, or procedural rules. Mr. Casanova responded that he understood. However, his statement soon suggested otherwise. Before proceeding, he asked whether the court was on record, indicating that he wanted to formally state something. The judge then placed the case on record, announcing the case number and identifying the parties involved. When asked to confirm his identity, Mr. Casanova did not answer in a straightforward manner. Instead, he stated that he was appearing as a flesh and breathing man, and not the legal entity named in the indictment. The judge acknowledged his statement but redirected him, clarifying that the court needed to address the individual named in the case. After some back and forth, Mr. Casanova confirmed he was Hector Casanova Jr., though he continued to emphasize his distinction from the legal identity. He then expressed confusion about the charges against him, stating that he did not understand the accusations being brought forward. Before addressing that concern, the judge asked a crucial question: had he received a copy of the indictment? Mr. Casanova said he had not. The court immediately arranged for him to be provided with the document. After receiving the indictment, the court resumed proceedings. The judge made a clear statement. The document provided outlines the charges, and it is not the court's role to interpret or explain its legal meaning. That responsibility belongs to an attorney. Mr. Casanova again stated that he did not understand. Recognizing the disconnect, the judge attempted to explain the situation through an analogy. The judge described a scenario in which someone decides to perform surgery on themselves without medical training. If that person walks away from a doctor and attempts such a procedure alone, they cannot expect guidance midway through. The same principle applies in court. Choosing self-representation means accepting full responsibility for understanding the law without assistance from the court or prosecution. Despite this explanation, Mr. Casanova continued to insist that he did not understand. At this point, the judge made a decisive move. The court would appoint an attorney not to take over the case, but to serve as standby counsel. This attorney would be available to assist him with legal questions and procedural matters. Before the attorney arrived, Mr. Casanova attempted to place a statement on the record. He claimed that the court had failed in its duty under the Sixth Amendment to inform him of the nature and cause of the accusations. The judge immediately addressed this claim by confirming that he had now been given the indictment, which clearly outlines the charges. The record would reflect that fact. Still, Mr. Casanova continued with further questions. He asked whether the case was civil or criminal. The judge responded that this was a criminal matter being heard in a felony court. Unsatisfied, Mr. Casanova proceeded to question the jurisdiction of the court, referencing distinctions between common law and military or admiralty jurisdiction. His line of questioning moved further away from the practical issues of his case. At this point, the judge intervened again. The court explained that these questions were not relevant to the proceedings in a criminal district court. The judge reiterated that an attorney would soon arrive and that these matters should be discussed with legal counsel. Mr. Casanova continued to express confusion, repeating that he did not understand. The judge then gave a direct instruction. He was to take a seat and wait for the attorney. When asked if he understood that instruction, he confirmed that he did, and he complied. Shortly afterward, the appointed attorney met with Mr. Casanova and returned to the courtroom. The court resumed on record. The judge formally introduced the attorney as standby counsel, explaining that this role was limited to assisting with procedural and legal questions if Mr. Casanova chose to seek guidance. Mr. Casanova would still retain control over his defense. The judge then invited him to place any further statements on the record. Mr. Casanova declared that he was appearing under threat, duress, and coercion. He claimed that if he failed to appear in court, a warrant would be issued, and he would be forcibly taken into custody, which he described in extreme terms. The judge responded directly, asking who had threatened him. Mr. Casanova stated that it was the county. The court clarified that requiring a defendant to appear in court is not coercion but a legal obligation. His statement was acknowledged, but it did not alter the proceedings. With those issues addressed, the court moved forward with scheduling. The judge explained the next steps in clear terms. The case would be reset for a discovery hearing in approximately 1 month. This hearing would ensure that Mr. Casanova received all evidence and information held by the prosecution. Following that, the next court date would involve a plea deadline. At that stage, the state would present any plea offer, and Mr. Casanova would have the option to accept or reject it. If no agreement was reached, the case would proceed to a jury trial. Mr. Casanova acknowledged this plan and stated that he had no further questions. The court then set the next hearing date as July 29th. He was instructed to sign the reset documentation along with standby counsel to confirm his awareness of the scheduled appearance. Before concluding, Mr. Casanova asked whether it would be possible to reschedule the date if necessary. The judge explained that rescheduling is only granted under serious circumstances, such as hospitalization. Otherwise, he would be expected to appear as scheduled. The instruction was clear. Attendance was mandatory. Mr. Casanova confirmed his understanding. As the session came to a close, the judge thanked him for his time and noted his appropriate appearance in court. With no further matters to address, the court adjourned the session, formally resetting the case for the next stage of proceedings.